here's just a few of the great bargains that I got when I went to town today. I haven't been to town in 2 weeks. The freezer was starting to get down a bit, and I was starting to have to cook some of the same things over and over. So decided to go into town and see if I could get some good deals. I was able to pick up these peach halves again at Dollar Tree, the giant can. I do know they are packed in syrup, but for that size of a can, $1.25 is a really good deal. I was able to get pork loin for markdown, and that added up to be $2.32 a pound. I put that on there so I wouldn't forget the amounts. I was able to get orange juice, 32 cents for a half gallon. It is the pulp in kind. I don't like the pulp. I'm going to strain it out. Again, I'm working for myself to save money. And then I found some of the ground beef patties, which I normally never buy, but they were marked down, which made them $2.41 a pound. You can't beat that for a hamburger around here. And then I know someone complained about the Heritage Farm chicken that I bought last time, but I do prepare it and prefer it in the bone-in stage, because then I can use those bones for other things if I've baked them and deboned them, and then I can make the broth. And it equaled out to $1.62 a pound. I got 3 large packages. So yeah, I'm going to be breaking things down this afternoon, weighing them out and freezing them. I got a pound and a half of Brussels sprouts for $2 and 2 pounds of broccoli florets for $3.48, which right now they're $1.99 a pound on the stock. So that is a much better deal. And then I got some more of this packaged, marked down produce. I was able to get green peppers, and then 2 green and a red, 99 cents a bag, which made them 33 cents each. So I'm still finding really good deals. I'm still able to stay in budget shopping like this, and I hope that you are finding some of these bargains. So that was a workout, putting all of that meat away and freezing it and separating it. And I want to show you how big one of those breasts were. I mean, it's almost as big as my face. It's huge. And if you've ever tried to put on jeans that are too small, that's what it was like trying to get it into sandwich bags. I reused the bags that I already had that were from like gluten-free bread or gluten-free tortillas that I had saved over time. I have to really be careful how I package things. I can't just use old regular bread bags like I used to, because my husband is gluten-free and it will make him sick. But shoving these and getting it to zip, it was a task. I still have to cut up my green peppers and get those frozen. And I remember a time that green peppers were a luxury for my family. When my kids were growing up, we rarely had a pepper of any type. That's not something that I grew up on the farm with Dad growing. We grew very basic vegetables like onions, green beans, carrots, watermelon, those types of things. And we never grew peppers. I never had peppers till I was an adult. So they weren't a staple in my household. So I feel very privileged that I'm able to catch them on sale, and we're able to have them every day just as a basic thing in my freezer. So as we go through this, there are things that really are luxuries. A lot of times we think that they're not, and we think that we can't cook without some of those things. But those things will raise our grocery bill when we stop and think about it. Do we really need peppers every single day? Some of those little things that have just become normal, those were not normal when I was raising my family. They were a luxury. So that's something that I stop and I think about, and I am thankful for that I now can catch them on sale, so they are an everyday item at my fingertips. I think that's one of the things that we get caught up in when we're grocery shopping that makes us spend so much money. We have so many choices that we didn't have back when I was growing up.
so many pre-packaged, prepared foods, so many convenience foods, so many different flavored foods. When I grew up, we had hardly any spices in our house. We had salt, pepper, cinnamon. I don't remember ever having parsley, onion salt, garlic salt. Heck, we never had garlic growing up. Garlic was something that I had as an adult that I'd never had before. So look at how many just simple everyday ingredients have been added to our portfolio of staples in our house that weren't even available or even used regularly in the 60s and 70s. And then you'll see why our grocery budgets have grown so much, because our product selection and our basics of what we consider staples has grown. Things that I try to keep on hand that are staples are things like flour, sugar, brown sugar, powdered sugar, baking soda, baking powder. And there's a recipe in my new cookbook on how to make your own homemade baking powder. And the link's in the description box if you're interested. Also, vanilla, vinegar, just very basic items. Salt, pepper, like we discussed, were considered basics when I grew up. And those are the things that I try to keep stocked up on. I try to keep one extra, but all of those extra things, they are just the ruffles and bows on our grocery shopping list. So our tastes have changed over the years, which has caused our budgets to change and our grocery shopping amounts to change. It's something to think about as we're making out our grocery list for that next trip to town. And then if I don't feel like cooking, I do try to once in a while keep something extra in the freezer that's fast and easy, like maybe a frozen pizza from Aldi. They are cheap there. We eat half of one when we have one. My husband actually prefers the gluten-free crust that's found in the fresh area when you first walk in by the produce. He says those are the best gluten-free pizzas that he's had. And again, we will try to get those once in a while to give ourselves a treat when I'm just tired of cooking or I'm out of ideas of cooking. We all get into stalemates where we are just tired of cooking. And I think that's where the temptation comes to go out to eat or to go grab something. Out here in the country, we don't have those options. You would have to drive at least 25 minutes each way just to get a choice of a couple of small restaurants, including Pizza Hut as a restaurant. That would be one of them. And their gluten-free pizzas there are about $16. So I'd much rather buy one, keep on hand. He can add the toppings that he wants, and he's much more satisfied with that lesser priced pizza than driving almost an hour to get a $16 pizza that's much smaller with much less toppings. So I keep a list of needed items, things I'm running low on, and then I just wait for sales. If I can't find it on sale, then we just eat something else and I skip that idea until I can find it on sale. It's really not a hard way to live. I've become accustomed to being able to ebb and flow that way with my cooking and my shopping, and we've been able to combat inflation, have a full freezer, have a full pantry, still stay in budget. And our budget for two people is $245 a month. I do not look at changing that going into the new year because I'm able to manage on that and still have lots of extra food. If I see that I'm running close to budget, then I just won't buy anything. This last trip, like I said, it'd been 2 weeks since I'd been to town. We really didn't need a lot of things. It was more that I was running out of ideas and I was making some of the same things over and over because some of our meat supply was getting low and I'd ran out of some of my options. So yeah, I really urge you to take a look at what is on your shopping list. So many people still have a lot of disposables on their shopping list, and that can raise up your grocery bill so much if you are buying paper napkins, paper towels, fabric softener, fabric sheets, air fresheners, cleaners. I mean, the list could go on and on at how many things we put in our grocery budget or in our grocery cart that aren't really groceries. And so I've cut back on those tremendously. It's so easy to just cut up some old towels and use those for rags instead of paper towels. Use the reusable napkins. My mother-in-law just gave me another huge bag of reusable napkins because she doesn't use them and we do. I even have some in the camper that we're using because I will have to do laundry eventually in the camper too. So why not have the reusable napkins so that all of my cabinets aren't just full of disposables? Those things that we buy with the intention of throwing them away are what really cuts into our budgets. It takes just minutes to maybe walk around room to room and say, what do I have in this room that I'm buying with the intention of discarding, that I'm buying just so I can throw it away because I don't want to clean it, or I don't want to store it, or I don't want to wash it, or we are just used to doing it that way. Like we're just used to buying green peppers. We're just used to buying garlic powder and onion powder and dehydrated onions. So we also buy paper towels and we also buy paper napkins because we're just used to it. It takes just a few minutes. Walk around room to room and say, what am I buying in here that I might be able to have something that's reusable so I don't have to keep rebuying it and rebuying it and rebuying it. That does your budget so much good. It really helped us when we decided to go paper free and disposable free. I can't even tell you. I think that was one of the biggest first steps that we made to saving money on our budget. So as we go into this new year, I really hope and wish for you that you have a smooth new year coming to you, that you try a few new things that might be old ways to save money for you and your family and make things so much smoother when it comes to your finances. Some of these changes are so small. They seem big. They seem big to go paperless. They seem huge when you think about it too. Oh my gosh, no paper towels. Oh my gosh, no paper napkins. That seems overwhelming. But once you make the switch, it is so easy that you think, why didn't I do this before? Why have I been buying all this stuff? And then you think about all the money that you wasted when it's something that you wouldn't have to pick up at the store, bring home, unpack, store, put out, take out the trash. I mean, look at all those steps you can avoid just by having a cloth napkin that you wash and sit back on the table in a basket. Tons of steps that you miss. It just makes your life so much easier instead of harder. When you think about it, you think it makes it harder, but it really makes it easier. And isn't that what we all want? More time, more money, less work, less shopping, less errands to run, less trips to the store, more time for ourselves. I wish that for you in the coming year. Thanks for watching today.